All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone. And I want to give peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'm going to jump into this quick lesson. I got a couple articles lined up. Slocky, I'm a little under the weather, so forgive me for the awkward pauses. I want to jump into this lesson is going to be concerning a World War III update. Okay. And I got a couple of articles lined up, and I got maybe two scriptures that I want to get into concerning this lesson. So we'll start with this one here this is an article from The Hill. It says, China preparing for war with the U.S. Air Force Security says. Okay. So as we all know that World War III is going to happen. All right. How do we know? Because it's a part of Bible prophecy. All right. And when you're measuring the times, like the scriptures say, you have an idea. You get to look in the news. OK, see what reports, the latest reports, and you can see what these countries are up to. OK, and what's important is that what's important to acknowledge that more recently over the past few years, man, there's nothing more significant when it comes to world war talk. Is you hear about these countries, how they're preparing their militaries. We've been hearing nothing but updates on these countries and the military weapons and all these drills that they've been doing, and you know how they've been purchasing and how they've been stacking their militaries, and you know all these defense systems that they've been preparing. I mean, if you're paying attention, you know you get to see it. All right, and these updates that we get through the news, through these different articles, and ultimately through the Spirit, man, because the Lord is showing us the elect, namely, because you know majority of people who may even be in tune with what's going on globally, okay, with these countries, they may understand that war is inevitable. That's gonna happen. However, they can't tie it to Bible prophecy. All right. And that's what separates the elect from everyone else, because we get to see it for what it is. All right. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing to be, have the Lord sup with you, and the Holy Spirit be able to update you and keep you abreast on what's happening throughout the world, and how it affects the future. All right, which is looking very grim. All right, for the world. So this article again, it says China preparing for war with the U.S. Air Force Secretary says. It says Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall on Monday warned that China was building up its military to prepare for a potential war with the U.S. And he said America must optimize its forces to counter the rising threat. So like I just mentioned, over the past few years, this is what we've been seeing and hearing. Okay, that these countries have been building up their military. You know, we've been hearing about these different nuclear missiles that these countries have been gathering, right? And there's only one reason why they would be gathering this military, not just in case. They're not building up their military just in case. They're building up their military because they know it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. All right. It says, speaking at the Air and Space Forces Association Warfighter Symposium at National Harbor, MD, Kendall said the U.S. must be ready for a kind of war we have no modern experience with. Okay? The kind of war we have no modern experience with. What is that? What does that say to you? Let me read that again. It says, speaking at the Air and Space Forces Association Warfighter Symposium at National Harbor, MD, Kendall said the U.S. must be ready for a kind of war we have no modern experience with. What does that make you think of? It makes you think of nuclear war. Okay? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, and verse 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood." Okay? This is how war was fought with in the ancient time, right? With confused noise and garments rolled in blood, with swords and men meeting at the battlefield, swords and shields, right? And arrows and spears, okay? It says, "But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Okay? What type of war would create burning and fuel of fire? Nuclear war. Okay? So this is why he says this kind of war we have no modern experience with, because in these modern times, these countries are building up their nuclear arsenal. Okay? It says the kind of war we have no modern experience with, though he stressed war is not inevitable. Okay? And war is inevitable. War is inevitable. Like I said, why? Because the scriptures tell us. It says our job is to deter that war and to be ready to win it. Slacking. It says our job is to deter that war and to be ready to win it if it occurs. Kendall said, "We're all talking about the fact that the air and space forces must be changed, or we could fail to prevent and might even lose a war." Okay, so they're not talking about this stuff just because they have mouths, man, just to ramble on. This is going to happen in our time, okay, and it's soon, man. It's soon gonna come, okay, because with the United States losing its grip as the #1 superpower, they're not just gonna go lightly. They're not gonna lose their with the dollar slipping away. You know, countries are moving away. We understand what's happening with these BRICS nations and these countries slowly but surely moving away from the dollar, the de-dollarization. Okay, which is currently the world's reserve currency. The United States ain't gonna go lightly. All right, so they're preparing themselves. Okay, for this war. It says Kendall said Kendall said it was pivotal to prepare for war because China is developing its forces at a rapid pace. Okay, meaning they're gathering their nuclear arsenal and other types of weaponry and things that we've never seen or haven't ever heard of. Okay, with the technology being what it is, man, these countries probably got all types of lasers and different types of man. You just don't even know, man. They probably have all types of new advanced technology that can help win a war. Okay, so that's what we have to prepare for. Kendall said it was vital to prepare for war because China is developing its forces at a rapid pace and has created 2 new military branches: a force designed to counter aircraft carriers, airfields, and other critical assets, and a strategic support service that works to achieve information dominance in the space and cyber domains. Okay, so these space forces that we've been hearing about over the past couple years, these countries are preparing themselves to have that in their arsenal and be a part of their military. These different branches of the military. These countries are ready to have a space force. All right, and ultimately those space forces are going to be used to fight against YAHAWASHI and the chariots when he returns. Okay, because in the midst of the World War III, YAHAWASHI and the angels are going to return. And that's when the real war starts. Okay? Because YAHAWASHI and the angels, when they come back, it's going to be, you talking about a war. Remember up here where this guy said the kind of war we had no modern experience with? When YAHAWASHI and the angels return, this is going to be a kind of war that you're talking about no modern experience with. It's going to be a fatality. Okay? Because you're not going to be able to shoot down any of the chariots. All right? You're not going to be able to affect YAHAWASHI. You're not going to be able to touch the elect, the angels. Okay? It says, the Air Force Secretary said China has been re-optimizing its forces for great power and competition and to prevail against the U.S. in the Western Pacific for over 20 years. And that's basically, what I was mentioning before. These countries have been preparing for this war for a long time, knowing that, the fall of the U.S. was inevitable, and it's going to result in a war at some point. Okay. All right, and I'm going to jump into this second article here. All right. It says here, this is from the RT. Okay. And it says, I will always stand with Russia, says North Korean leader. Okay. So we know North Korea and Russia are allies, and they're going to be the main two countries that come up against Babylon, America, during this world war. All right. It says Kim Jong-un is making a rare foreign trip to meet President Vladimir Putin. All right. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has pledged his nation's support for Russia and his standoff with the U.S. and his allies, because we know what's happening now over in Ukraine. And the United States is actually, it's been sending billions and billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine to help them in support of that war against Russia, right? And North Korea is standing with Russia, okay, ultimately in preparation for the Third World War. It says he is making a rare visit to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin at the space facility in Russia's far eastern Amur region. Okay, Russia has risen for a sacred fight to protect its national sovereignty and safety against hegemonic forces. Kim said ahead of negotiations on Wednesday, we will always stand together with Russia against imperialism. And that imperialism is talking about is, the United States of America and what they've done to the globe, ever since coming into power. Okay, that imperialistic nation. It says his host noted that Vostochny Cosmodrome was an unusual venue for the meeting. All right. We are proud of the development of our space industry. Okay. Going back to those space forces. Okay. We are proud of the development of our space industry, and this facility is new for us. I hope that you and your colleagues are interested in it. Putin said the Korean officials were given a tour of the space launch site. All right. So, this is what is happening in the news, man. All right. We're getting updates about World War III. We're getting updates about what's going to happen over the next, who knows, man? This war can pop off soon, man, because we know the prophecies of the MOTB. We see the technology. We see people getting C-hips now, man, across the country, across the globe, right? And ultimately, with the downfall of the dollar, okay, that reset is going to happen. And they're going to usher in that C-hip as soon as, real soon, man. And then Jacob's trouble's going to hit. And then it's going to end up being World War III. All right. So we're very close. We're very near to it. Let me just get this last scripture, Isaiah 14 and 22. It says, for I will rise up against them, saith the Lord, YAHWASHI of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and the remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so it shall come to pass, and I have purposed it, so it shall stand. So the Lord has purposed Babylon the Great to be destroyed. All right, and the Lord said it would be it says out in verse 23, I will make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. And that's what the World War III, that's what the nuclear missiles. All right, so that's what we have to look forward to, man. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. I hope this was edifying. All right, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.